Reggie Wayne, a finalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame again. Hall of Fame numbers, certainly. Hall of Fame behavior, absolutely. Hall of Fame love for the game. Yes, we had a chance to talk to Reggie Wayne about this opportunity to go to the Hall of Fame, potentially, and talk to him about this game coming up Sunday against the Raiders and what kind of an attitude is necessary for this team to thrive given that challenge.
I'm excited, of course. You know what I mean? Definitely excited. But, just let it run its course and you see what happens.
Do you think this could be the year?
I thought the first year could have been the year. But nah, it'll come. It's already written, man. It's like my mom used to tell me about Jesus, right? So it may not come when you want him, but you're always on time.
His time.
Yeah.
Does going through this with Edge help at all? I mean, you kind of saw his process firsthand.
Man, y'all can let Edge fool y'all all y'all want. Hey, y'all can let him fool y'all all y'all want, man. Edge, he had the statement once he finally got in. He said, you wait X amount of years or whatever, but when you finally get in, don't nothing matter. But those 5 years or so he was waiting, boy, I used to hear about that every other day. But no, it's normally the last few years, he'll call me and he'd be like, hey, you already know how it go. You know how it go, man. So just be cool. You know what I'm saying? And then yesterday he just texted me and said, you've been down this road before. So I have. I know the directions. I don't need GPS no more.
Even though it's excruciating having to wait, when you put it in context, you think about when you were 10 years old or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you ever, could you even have dreamed about even being in this position?
No, man. I mean, nobody 10 years old, you didn't know what Hall of Fame was, right? You just was trying to live a childhood dream, right? I just wanted to play football, right? I've said this story before. I didn't really care about football until one day. Probably shouldn't say this, but one day I had a dream as a little kid, and I was playing for the Buffalo Bills, right? I'm like, oh, okay, try this football thing, right? And then my dad kept wanting me to play, and I never really wanted to play, and baseball is my favorite sport, so I kind of just did it just to please my dad, and never look back.
Reggie, you've always said, you let your body of work speak for it because. Yeah. But when you look at the other receivers in there, mm-hmm. What separates you from them? Do you think?
Oh, you put me on the spot. No, I mean, like all those other guys that's in there and the finalists, like these dudes are. Everybody's deserving. Everybody's put the work in. Everybody's good, right? These dudes are one of the best, right? Like. But if I had to answer that, I guess you would say, playoffs, right? Like, that matters, right? And I get it, everybody don't make the playoffs. You're bad. You know what I'm saying, right? So, but playoffs, which is important, I got a whole season worth of playoff numbers. Right, over 1,000-something yards in playoff numbers, 80-something catches in playoff numbers.
90-something catches.
Oh shit! Look, there you go. Right, like that's a whole season. Right, that doesn't count towards my numbers. You know what I mean? So, I just think the games that mattered, right? The games that mattered, did that person or player show up? And I like to think that I did.
What would it mean to get in?
Oh, it's gonna be a party. It's gonna be a celebration. I mean, it's gonna be fun times. That's why I keep telling everybody. They're like, man, this your year. You gonna get in. I say, look, you'll know when I get in. It'll be a party, and if I'm still coaching, you can best believe I'm gonna be absent for a little while.
Not a day.
Right.
A while.
2 weeks.
As a player, you have a chance to perform and succeed in a game, but for this, you have no control. You just got to wait. How frustrating, or kind of challenges that present itself?
Oh man, I mean it is what it is. It's a lot of stuff I've waited on in my lifetime, right? I've in the same situation I've waited on to become the number one receiver for the Colts for 6-7 years. You know what I mean? So I don't have a problem with waiting. I've waited on a lot of stuff. I didn't always get that BMX bike when I was a kid, right? I didn't get that Nintendo right when it came out, so you gotta wait. You gotta wait till, your numbers call or your opportunity, and when it does, you just gotta answer the bell.
Reggie, you could be waiting this out on the beach in Florida, dwelling on it, but instead you're focused on this, and you guys have two huge opportunities ahead of you to close out the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, does that somewhat help not dwell on it, and you kind of compartmentalize exactly what you're focused on now, and you can let that be what it is and watch that unfold in due time?
That's always in a whole category by itself, right? It's always going to happen when it's going to happen, and you hit it around the head. I'm trying to figure out how we can win this game, right? You got a hungry Raiders team that's playing for their coach, and they coming in trying to destroy everything. You know what I'm saying? So, the Hall of Fame stuff, it'll take care of itself, right? The funny thing is, some of the guys it's like, Reg, we're gonna finish up this year. He said, but I'm just thinking about when you get in this year in the Hall of Fame, we're probably going to have to come to training camp early because we'll probably be in that game. You know what I'm saying? And I just say, man, you know what? That ain't my fault. If that's the case, we'll be one of the first ones in. And y'all will be at work. I won't. No, but I'm just, I'm all locked in, man. We got something that, as a team that we can accomplish, right? That was the thing. To, find a way to get in the playoffs, right? And not only that, the division is not out of our sight, so you got a lot of stuff to play for.
That in mind, how to focus your. What was Saturday, like last Saturday, when you think you got bit all week and then you don't? Do you quickly have to adjust that dramatically?
Oh man, it's obviously you want your main Kyle out there, right? You want all your heavy hitters, right? You just want to have all your artillery ready. And when we didn't get him, he couldn't make it. That was first thing I did is look at Alec, right? I looked at DJ Montgomery. I was like, hey. I even said it the night before the meeting. I was like, look, Pitt's not playing, right? I said, but this is our chance to show everybody that we're just not a one-man army, right? Like, we're a squad, we're a crew, you know what I mean? So let's go out there and let everybody know, I don't think we had our best performance, so we still got points to prove,
Won't it be easier, not knowing Pitt, but this week, I guess you're preparing as if he's not there?
Yeah, you should,
Which is better than...
Which is better to begin, hitting from the side, getting a cheap shot, you know what I mean? So yeah, now you sit up there, you put everything in perspective, and you say, all right, if Pitt's playing, we know we got this, but okay, if Pitt's not playing, what is our plan B? And now we got time to work on it and work on it and work on it, and I can make sure some of these guys, the DJ Montgomerys don't look like, eyes wide open like a deer in headlights. You know what I'm saying? So it's a great opportunity for those guys. Obviously you want Pitt there, but if not, we can't go home. We got to play.
Reggie, do you know Antonio Pierce at all? And I mean, you probably played against him. And do you have any thoughts when he's trying to get this done?
I know him very little,
Okay.
but I do. When we see each other, we speak, and it's the whole fraternity part of it. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people that know him. Everybody has great things to say about him, but just looking at some of those early games and looking at the games that he's been there, like those players love him. Mm-hmm. You can tell in their play. You know what I mean? Like it's a different team. So that just goes to show you like how much respect he has, the type of person he is, and the way he can kind of get gain players' confidence. And I think that's if you're a coach and you can't gain the player's confidence, you might as well go home.
Reggie, speaking of fraternity, have you and Dwight texted since last night?
You know what's crazy? I texted Dwight yesterday afternoon, and I texted him because a friend of mine sent me a flyer from 13 years ago that said Reggie, Dwight, and Robert Mathis party. You know, we threw a party, I guess, 13 years ago, and I totally forgot about the Hall of Fame thing, and then all of a sudden I see I'm in there, and I see Dwight's in there, and we never text again. I mean, so I guess it's understood. I guess it's understood. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know, we'll talk. We'll talk. We kind of. I know his phone was going crazy, just like mine was. You know, but we'll talk.
Reggie, when you were playing, did you recognize in real time the path you were charting as a player? Like, when did you know, like, okay, I'm one of the best to ever do this?
Sure. Like, honestly, like where I'm from, man, you got to think like that from jump. You know what I mean? You got to think that you made a Teflon. You got to think that you that dude. If not, they're gonna run you out of New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? So you know, it's just I had that confidence as a kid growing up in everything I did. You know, and then as it kept going and going and going, it's like nowhere in there. Like even when I was playing, it's like I never thought I'd be in this situation. You know what I'm saying? I'm just playing ball. I'm just playing ball, and after it was all said and done, and you know, you sit back, and I remember driving from Foxborough, right, in my Jeep Cherokee, driving 95 South, right, and I'm sitting back and I'm thinking about everything I accomplished, right, and then you put everything in perspective and you say, you did some cool stuff. You know what I'm saying? You did some stuff that a lot of people can't even fathom about. You know what I mean? And you sit back and you smile and you pay your toll at the sun pass and you keep moving.
And Reggie, you kind of talked about the playoffs, and I mean, as a former Colts player, I'm sure you can empathize with what the players are going through with so much pressure in these next two games. Mm-hmm. And just for you, like throughout the locker room, not just with the receivers, is there a special message you're trying to give to the guys, or words of encouragement you're trying to give to the leaders of this team?
These dudes, they're professionals. They know what's at stake. You know, if you got to motivate a player at this point in time, you know, the season, and as a staff, we're doing something wrong, right? Or, you know, we got the wrong people in the locker room. That's just how I feel, right? We shouldn't have to check your pulse right now, right? You got a chance to do some good things here, and continue to move forward, right? You look at all the teams that. When you look at the side of their team's names, it has an E because they're eliminated, right? We're not eliminated, so we got a lot to play for. We got a lot in front of us. We got a lot of points to prove, right? We're not even supposed to be here. We're not supposed to be here. So it's like, you know what? We're in a situation now where we didn't change some people's minds, right? Why not add to it? Why not really kick the door in? Don't just check and see if the knobs are, if you can turn it, right? Open that sucker, man. Open it and see who in there. Hey, we in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just one of those things like we shouldn't, they know what's up. Like, you let them leaders, they handle it out. If I can look in your eyes and tell that it's a blank stare, then maybe I have a talk with you, but I hadn't had that situation yet.
Nate, you got last question.
Is there anything about Pitt that you've grown to appreciate when you haven't had him out there? Any parts of him that maybe are a little easy to take for granted when you see it all the time when he's not there?
Yeah, I'd much rather him out there, because when he's not out there, he's standing on the side of me and he's getting on my damn nerves about what he sees. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, man, just go get a helmet. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I mean, like, obviously, he's our guy. He's our guy. So a lot of those key situations, those third downs, those things, like when we sit down there, it was like, man, we just need to play. We need to play. Like, normally be like, hey, Pitt to get us a play some kind of way. You know what I mean? And it's like, you don't have Pitt, you kind of looking like, all right, which one of these guys we think can give us a play? You know what I'm saying? So now to having them out there really takes away for an opportunity for you to have a big explosive play, whether it's the way you draw it up or rather it's, you know, during the scramble.
Thanks,
That's Reggie Wayne. Reggie's a Hall of Famer, right? He's going to be a Hall of Famer eventually. Maybe this year, maybe not this year. We'll see what happens. But more importantly to you and to me and to everybody in this building is how they play on Sunday. Can these receivers, whether Michael Pittman Jr. is a part of the equation or not, can they rise to the occasion and earn their place in the postseason? That happens this Sunday and the following Sunday, and then it's kind of Reggie time. Reggie was always good in the postseason. He knows what it takes to succeed in the postseason. Let's see if he can extract that out of these guys.